Alright guys, today's video on WAP, we're going to be going over how you can find your own settings. So I always say do your own testing, do your own due diligence, because what works with an algo 30 days ago might not work exactly the same for the next 30 days. And that's just how algo trading is. You can't just use the same exact thing for the next year and expect it to be the same and perform well the whole year. So we're going to jump into how I like to test for settings, and it's not that hard. So we're going to jump into the settings here, and I'm going to explain the process and what to look for and the biggest factors that will, lead into what makes it perform well. So you can obviously use any symbol pretty much. The biggest ones are obviously going to be NQ, use the micros, MNQ for more accurate numbers for risk per trade. Always use the micros. So MNQ, MGC, that's gold, MYM, probably the biggest ones, MES as well. But you want stuff that moves fluidly. You don't want, like, ES can be a little bit blocky. Sometimes you get a lot more barcodiness with ES versus something like YM or something like NQ or even gold. So we'll jump into this here. So jumping into the settings, the biggest factors in what will change your overall risk and your overall profit is going to obviously be the profit settings. We'll talk about this. Stops at the nearest swing points, break-even stops, and your swing strength and your swing high-low minimum ticks. Okay, so swing strength, if you guys don't know, because if you haven't read and watched all the videos, you would know, but if you haven't, swing strength is a lower number is going to mark out more swing points. A higher number is going to mark out less swing points. It's going to mark out kind of like bigger time frame swing points with a bigger number. So if you want more swing points and a more scalpy algo, this will be a lower number. If you want less scalpy, more high time frame, you'll go for a bigger number. The swing high low minimum ticks, similar thing. This is kind of the range needed to take a trade. So here we're saying the market needs to at least be in a 50 tick range to take trades. A lower number will take more scalpy, a lot more trades. Higher number will take more big time frame kind of trades, right? So these numbers, huge impact. Again, we'll talk about that. The next things, always make sure your max contracts are just set to like whatever account size you would do. A 50K account on Apex, you can do 100 micros, just set it to 100. That's what I usually keep it at, is 100. Always you'll have your full auto mode on. There is obviously still semi-auto mode. Not too many people use that. And then require impulse move will make a big impact. You should mess with this. And then the fair value gap size. Those are all the biggest factors. So we'll X out of this for now. And then over here, obviously we can choose other things. So most people do a lot of, trading on NQ. So I'm going to do something different today just to show you guys what is possible. So we'll go over to YM. So we'll switch over to MYM. Okay, so we've changed symbols. Now, if we right click on our chart, go to data series. There's a few different options here. We could use a 1 minute chart. We could go for a 2 minute chart, 3 minute chart, 5 minute chart. I wouldn't go really any past that, but those are all options there. Okay. You can also try tick charts. Tick charts, I'm not going to explain it, but just do research on what a tick chart is. Go ask ChatGPT what a tick chart is. Okay. And you can change these numbers. Some of our guys have found some good NQ setups with, 2,000 to 3,000 tick bars. So you can try that. Okay. I'm not saying it's all going to work the same, but technically you can get trades on tick charts, volume charts, range charts, second charts, minute charts, and those kind of things. So you can go in there, mess around with it. Okay. For this, we'll just maybe do a 5 minute chart here, on YM. Okay. And also when we're back testing here, we're going to want to load 30 days. 30 days here. And we'll click apply. Okay. And then we have 30 days on the chart. So this goes all the way back to October 14th. You can see down here, it's November 11th today. So about 30 days. Okay. Next thing, whenever I backtest, I like to backtest without a EMA, no indicator filters. And the reason I do that is I like to find a solid base first. And if I think something's good, I'll check with an indicator filter afterwards. And it takes a lot longer to load with an indicator filter. You'll sometimes have NinjaTrader freeze because it's just calculating so much information. Okay. So let's jump into it. So no indicator filters. Okay. So we'll just uncheck that box. And I want to check out, we'll start with a 1-to-1, 2-to-1. That's kind of just the default. And I want to try and use our new stop loss at the nearest swing points. So we'll have that feature there. We'll keep the stop loss offset at 0. Again, this is just messing around here. Okay, this is part of how you test. So we'll just do this. I'll uncheck the break-even stops. I always leave the risk per trade at 500 when I'm testing. Stop loss 300 for the max, minimum 0. That's fine. And the swing strength, this is where it gets interesting. So we can start with whatever number we want. Okay, so we will try, let's try maybe 7. Again, these are random numbers, 7 and 40. Okay, 40. And these are random numbers. Lower numbers, you'll get more trades, higher numbers, less trades. I'm not going to use any trailing stops. I want full auto mode, and I want to try require impulse move. Fair value gap size, YM moves a little differently than NQ. So we will do a little bit bigger, maybe 5 points, right? We'll do 5 points because again, it moves a little differently than NQ does. And then I'm going to just click enable and apply and okay. And this might take a minute. Okay, so just be patient. Don't touch too much and let it load up. Your higher time frame charts, like your 3 minutes, your 5 minute charts, will load up faster than say a 1 minute chart. That just makes sense. There's less bars to be loaded. And it's all about fiddling, guys. It's all about fiddling around and making small tweaks. So this video will be probably a little long, just because we're going to go over lots of stuff. Okay. So here, you know, we see there's trades being taken here. Some shorts above the EMA that are losing. So, you know, some stuff to look at. We also don't have break-even stops on. So we're getting trades like this. But the main thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to right click on our chart, go to strategy performance, click on Autotrader, click historical. Okay. Okay. So we can see here, this strategy is red $2,700 with a max drawdown of 5,700 and a 39% win rate. 236 trades. If we go to the analysis, this is what it looks like. So not great, right? We don't want to just go and use that right away. And we can see our entry times, a lot of red throughout the day, a little bit more green through the New York session. So something to keep in mind. Okay. So this is not something we'll want to use quite yet. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to start making tweaks, just one thing at a time. So we will try unchecking the require impulse move and re-enabling it. And now we're just gonna wait again. And I'm just gonna keep recording until we find something pretty cool. All right. So maybe a 30-minute recording. Who knows? I don't know. But we'll wait for this to load. And again, it's all about changing one little thing at a time and just not rushing the process. So at the end of the day, if you spend an hour on the weekend doing this, you could probably find at least one setting that probably was pretty cool. And obviously if you spend more time, you might get some better results. Okay. So we're already seeing some different trades over here, right? Seeing some trades here. So I'm going to, again, just go up, check strategy performance here. Okay, so just that one tweak, require impulse move unchecked. Big difference. So 6,000 profit, 3,800 drawdown. The drawdown's still a little big. Win rate went up, 46% win rate. If we check the analysis page here, much better upsloping equity curve. Again, we still have drawdowns, right? You're never gonna have a trading strategy with no drawdown. We check the day a week. Fridays a big wins. Most of the profit is on Fridays. So, you know, another thing is you could just use it on Fridays, something like that. You could have a different strategy you want to use each day of the week. I'm not joking. Okay, so entry times as well. So most of our profits between 3 a.m. and noon. 3 a.m. and noon. So, you know, if you wanted to just filter out those times, wouldn't necessarily be too bad. So that's looking pretty promising. It's looking pretty promising there. We'll go back in here and I'm going to add the break-even stops on. And we will see if that does anything with our drawdowns, does anything with our profits or anything like that. So again, we're making one small tweak at a time. We're trying to see what we can make the best and going from there. Okay. Again, it takes a little time just because you're taking quite a few, you know, days, or it's loading quite a few days, right? But again, I'm just gonna keep this video rolling here until we looks like it didn't enable there. We'll have to go and re-enable it. Keep it going until we get a solid foundation of something. I'm not gonna necessarily go until we find the world holy grail strategy. But this is just something where the people who put in this kind of work to understand the bot, what makes the tweaks and the changes. I had a guy today, won't say the name, who asked for a refund. Now, we don't give out refunds because obviously we are a small company. You guys accept that upon the purchase automatically. And then he left a 1-star review. He's had the product for less than a week. He asked for settings to copy. He probably enabled it for a few days. It was a bad couple of days. He gave up, left a terrible review. Those are not the kind of people that are going to succeed. You need to put some work in. Okay, put some work in and don't whine so much. Okay. So again, this loaded up. We just have break-even stops on. We'll check the historical. So profit went down a little bit. Drawdown also decreased a little bit. Okay. And it looks a little worse, honestly. So something to note there, but that's something like, do we want break-even stops? We might. Okay. We might still want break-even stops. So we'll go back in. And now I want to start doing some bigger tweaks, not such small tweaks anymore. I'm going to uncheck the break-even stops. And we know this is a good base, what we have here. Okay. And I'm going to try lowering the swing strength here. We'll put it to 5. We'll lower this to 25. So again, this should force some more trades. Doesn't mean they're going to be higher quality trades, just means more trades. And we'll click apply. So we had 7 and 40, and now we are going to try 5 and 25. It might be way worse, might be better, but again, we're going to try and find a sweet spot. If this number shows good, we'll maybe increase it a little bit. It's about going here, then going here, then going here, then going here, and then you find a spot. All right. I might not just talk the rest of this video because you guys get the idea. All right. You get the idea. So we tweaked the swing points here. I'm going to just, again, go in here, check the strategy performance historical. So that's red. So I do not want to go that low. Do not want to go that low. So 5 and 25 is too low. At least one of those numbers is. So again, we might be able to have 5 there, but maybe we want to keep the range up more, a little higher. So I'm just going to increase that a bit. We'll see how that pans out. Okay, this is all it is, guys. That's all it is. Doing this and being patient and enjoying the process, and you'll find something, right? We already found something that was 6,000 profit with a 3K drawdown, which isn't terrible. That's not a terrible start. And I know many of you would be happy to make 6 grand in a month. So it's about finding one that has a good profit with a pretty safe drawdown threshold. All right. Give it some little good luck spins here. All right. Got it loaded up here. Gonna just keep doing the same thing here. And this will pull all the data from the charts. So that's even more red. So you can see how just these slight tweaks, guys, can make a big impact, right? You can see how it can make a huge impact. So we're gonna go back here, and I do want to increase this, and I'm gonna try also just re-putting on require impulse move, and we'll see how that goes. So 10 and 35 here, require impulse move, and we'll see where we are at. Okay, we're back up. So again, tiny tweak, huge difference in the performance. Back up to 5,700 with a 5,000 drawdown. And again, if we check the days by the hour of day, again, most of our profit here is from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. So mainly like pre-market to the end of New York session. And days of week, Fridays, the Tuesdays, and Sundays. So this is something where we found something, and it looks like it actually performed really well during, 4 a.m. to 4 p.m. So this is something where we could start to maybe throw on some filter times and see how it performs. So I'm going to try that now. So the 4, if we go into back in the strategy performance here, boom. Remember these numbers, okay? Go into the analysis and go into the entry times and hour of day. So our filter time would likely, we want to start entering around 4-ish, and we would go to about 4. We wouldn't want to be entering trades past 4, obviously. So, 4 to 3:30-ish. So we'll try that. I'm going to go back in here. Boom. And we are going to use filter 1 here and do 4 a.m. to 3:45 p.m. And then we're going to just enable every day of the week. So 4 a.m. to 3:45 p.m. And then we are going to go back in and enable, and we'll see how this goes here. And then once this loads up, we will see if those filter times did have any impact at all. Okay. All right. Load her back up here. Go back into the strategy performance. Again, we're not overfitting anything. It's just about finding the best times that we want to use certain settings. So right now we're back up. We're up to 7,300 profit with a 2,400 drawdown, 50% win rate. So that's not terrible. That's not terrible. And the equity curve, you know, we made most of our profit between, you know, October 15th to October 31st, so end of October. And it's been slightly, you know, it's just been flat or slightly red in November. So we'd be in a drawdown of, you know, $1,200 in November. So, you know, not great this month so far, but really promising last month. So it's showing a lot of promise. All right. I'm just gonna end the video there. You guys kind of get the idea. I'll keep fine-tuning this, but you guys get the idea of what it takes and all the little tweaks to hopefully do this on other things, right? Go to gold, go to ES, go back to YM, go to micro Bitcoin futures, test on NQ, and do this process, right? This video was 22 minutes and we have a really good solid foundation for something. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. See you guys in this group.